possesses the appearance of one of the world's most feared dolls, but Letta dolls bring luck to the uninitiated. Learn doll Letta demon face bring luck to the owner. You've probably heard stories about monstrous dolls like Robert and Annabelle bringing disaster to their owners and families. From conversations between dolls and people to mysterious deaths, they have become the subject of an inspiration for Hollywood horror films. However, perhaps the Letta doll is an exception. Although there are many mysterious actions and people around to fear, but this doll has not caused anything bad, but Letta also help his employer to have many advantages in business. Strange encounters. The story began in 1972 when a man named Kerry Walton returned to his home in Australia for his grandmother's funeral. During this time, he decided to face his childhood fears by going into an abandoned house that haunted him for many years of childhood. Entering the house with a torch in hand, Kerry walked away dusty webs clinging to the day. Suddenly the light from the torch swept across a face that made him cold. Something like a kid. But after calm down and look closer, Kerry Walton discovers that it is an old doll. A strange feeling appears inside Kerry. He felt like he and the doll had met ever since and some force had urged him to take it home with him. The beginning of the mystery. The house had existed for hundreds of years. After the doll had left, only a month later had it been removed. Kerry believes that the doll knows everything and controls his actions. He also discovered the doll's hair is very real hair, and when opening the head of the doll, the next scary thing appears. Inside the doll's head really has something like a brain. According to Kerry, he has encountered so many strange things since he brought the doll back. Corgi, whose calm personality suddenly became extremely aggressive when he first saw the doll. Later, Kerry's relatives said that they felt scared because of Letta's human form. Someone said, "His eyes are like staring at you all day long." Kerry kids can also play with ordinary dolls during the day, but when the dolls are with them overnight, the kids wake up and cry the next morning. So, Kerry's boss was forced to leave the doll at home. Kerry lived with his doll for 5 years until he decided to take it to the museum in Sydney. It began to rain heavily when he put the doll in the car. Kerry felt chills and he wanted to quickly see what the doll would look like when it came to publicity. Upon receiving the doll, Sydney museum experts told Kerry that the doll was between 170 and 200 years old. It was created by a gypsy artist. This nomad believes in the transformation of the soul. Therefore, the doll can act as a shelter to the soul of someone who has died. At this point, the name Letta was born, because someone claimed to have heard the doll scream, "Let me out! Release me!" Because of the rare and age of the doll, Kerry thinks he can sell it for a good price. Get a Letta acquisition proposal. Kerry put the doll in the back of the car and drive to the buyer. It rained, and when it arrived, suddenly he felt like being stuck to a chair and there was no way out of the car. Secret dolls help boss change life. If anyone thinks Letta is a bad doll, then it seems they are wrong. Letta does not sow trouble on Kerry's life. In contrast, Letta was quick to help him earn money. Letta became the main character in the famous talk show. As a result, Kerry's antiques business became prosperous. Many suggest that Kerry could profit by bringing Letta to the US to perform a series of talk shows, but he refused. Instead, he agreed to recommend a famous astrologer in Australia, his hometown, to let Letta perform the show across the country. In particular, even when participating in television programs, Letta also constantly create the mystery. In a talk show, Letta is arranged to meet a famous psychic. However, when the doll appeared, the wall paint immediately fell to the floor and the clock stopped abruptly for unknown reasons. Then when the cameraman put it in the psychic labyrinth, many spectators saw Letta turn his head and look straight into the lens. A cameraman was standing on his feet and then ran out the door. Science on the go but helpless. When an Australian magazine published an article about the doll and the mysteries of spirituality, a group of American occultist investigators came to Kerry to conduct a special study. All they have is the fictional origins of this weird doll. According to the story, the doll is the soul of a 6-year-old boy trapped in a wooden ship. He died after the ship suffered a storm in a remote area of Romania. The father of the child made this effigy and performed a ceremony to deliver the baby's soul into the doll. Then the doll was brought to Australia by an immigrant and stayed at the old house until he meets Carrie. And after that fateful encounter, Carrie will not be able to escape the doll. So far, this is still one of the mysteries of the world.